So this is my list of worst films of 2018, and just like the best of, instead of a top 10 list, I'm just gonna give you my little categories. My little category here, it's just one movie in it. It's called Potential. It's bad. It had potential to be a decent movie, and I'm talking about A Wrinkle in Time. I had a terrible experience going to see this movie because of the people around me, so it didn't help my viewing of the movie, but I realized I wasn't the only one who had an issue with it. This was not a good movie. This was not. You know, like, I don't recall much of the book. Recently, I found a copy of it in my house, so it turns out, yes, I did read it at some point in my life. That fucking kid, that Charles Wallace kid who was just like, how dare you? I'm going on 65. This is one of those movies where, like, the trailer was like, oh, this seems pretty cool. And you see the movie and you're like, this is fucking bullshit. You know, and I think that's what got me the most angry with this, is because it had, first of all, it had Oprah. And Paul has said, he was like, Oprah doesn't just do movies, you know, like, because she needs the money or something, you know, because she's Oprah. He's like, you know, if she believes in a project, she'll, you know, be part of it because it's Oprah. And it's, what's her name, who's the director, because she did Selma, she did all this shit, and she's a good director. And, you know, you got all these fucking people in it. Like, Chris Pine did such a great job in this movie and all that shit. And then it just kind of was like, and flarp, you know, it just fell. Just right down, you know. And this was also, like, right after, like, the whole hype wave of Black Panther, and it's like, oh my god, Black Panther, and it's like, oh my god, that is a good movie, oh my god, and then people were like, oh, also, wait, hold on, also A Wrinkle in Time, because it's got an interracial family, and it's for little black girls, but then, no, fuck it, you know, all the way down, shit everywhere. So my second little section, I call it horror. 3 movies on this. I have Slenderman, or Slenderman, Soul Slenderman, sorry, Truth or Dare, and then Unfriended Dark Web. So with Slenderman, Saul Slenderman, he's a lawyer down the block, that was just like, when I saw the trailer, I just thought, hey, look, I directed a movie back in 2003, like, what the fuck? I think someone on Letterboxd, one of their, like, one of the top reviews was, like, most anticipated movie of 2012. I was like, oh my god, that fucking kills me. And then, like, the trailer gives it a whole, like, gives it more the feel of, like, the game, so it's, like, weird wood stuff, it's kind of black and white, kind of like the Ring video shit happening, you know? Then it's, like, static, remember, like, in the games and stuff. And then it's like, you know, you saw, like, the figure, like, Slenderman, you know, and you're like, you know, what could it be? And then you watch the movie, and it's like a bunch of stupid girls who are just like, we're bored, oh my god, did you hear about this Slenderman thing, da-da-da? And it's kind of like, they're like, let's call upon Slenderman, and then, like, something like you have, like, an item that, yeah, I fucking forgot, it's been a while. It's like, you have an item, blah, 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 and then you go to the woods, you do call upon Slenderman, and it's like Bloody Mary, but, like, it's really dumb. Because it's one thing to be like, you say Bloody Mary into a mirror, and then she, like, appears, or whatever the fuck the tale is. But here, it's like, because, like, that, you could be like, oh, cool, we had a sleepover, and we did that because it's in the bathroom or wherever, there's a mirror, and you do it right then and there. But this is like, we'll have a sleepover, and then we're gonna grab some shit and hike up to the woods, and then, you know, sell my soul to Satan, and then Slenderman, you know, shows up, and then one by one my friends just start dying, disappearing, whatever fuck. And the whole time it's one of those movies where it's like, we'll see if your dumbass didn't do shit, this wouldn't happen, you know? It's like, if you didn't, like, use the Ouija board, if you didn't, you know, like, steal the artifact, you know, kind of thing, like, if you didn't take a lava rock from Hawaii, you know, you wouldn't have this bad luck kind of stuff, like, because you decided to be a little shit, and these are teenagers, so of course you're gonna be a little shit, this would have happened to you, you know, if you would just, like, leave well enough alone and then do other teenage shit, like, I don't know, like, shit post online or something, like we all do, they'll be fine. But instead you're like, let's call upon the slender blah blah blah. And then we have Truth or Dare. And we all know that movie was fucking dumb to begin with because, again, it's like... it's like, God, what's next? Like, a movie about Mousetrap, you know what I mean? Like, chutes and ladders and shit like that. So it's like Truth or Dare. Again, it's kind of like it's like a movie based on shit you do at a slumber party kind of stuff. So it's like, this one's like, let's play Truth or Dare, and then, like, it's like, but it's like 6 of us or whatever, we go to Mexico, so bad things happen in Mexico, because, you know, nothing bad happens when we go to Canada, you know, so it's like, we're not going to be going to Mexico. Then we meet up with this guy, because we're on Canada, drinking, and this guy's like, hey, how about we play Truth or Dare? And since we're drunk, we're like, yeah, let's play Truth or Dare, even though, like, we're all agreeing to the stupid game. And then, you know, you do it, and then the guy's like, cool, like, now the curse is lifted off of me, bye, you know? And so then, of course, like, the game, let the games begin, you know? And it's just like, they're like, you have to keep playing, you know, like, if you die in the game, you die for real! Oh, God, I should actually watch... like, rewatch that movie and review it. But yeah, like, if you die in the game, you die for real. And if you, like, you have to, what was it like? You can't keep picking truth, you know? So if you do, like, oh, you did 2 truths, so you have to do a dare, you know? Like, you can't just, like, not do the thing and whatever slumber party rules this is, you know? And then it's like, every time, it's like, if you don't do it, then horrible things happen. Like, the guy was like, I'm standing on top of a billiard table, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, somehow, don't notice that, you know, there was a billiard ball there the entire time. I'll slip, fall down, break my neck. Oh, my God. You know, and it's just like, all this crazy stuff where at first it's like, oh, I admitted I, like, you know, slept with that girl's guy, and it's like, oh, okay. But then it's stuff like, I hate everyone, I'm just shouting in the middle of a library, because of course that's gonna happen, you know? And then it had, like, that stupid, like, Joker smile thing that went on, where they're like, truth or dare, and you're like, what does that have to do with it? Is that the Truth or Dare ghost? Like, is that the Truth or Dare ghost that like, or like demon that possesses you and you're like, Truth or Dare, whoa, why so serious? And I think there was like another Truth or Dare movie that came out, like, and it was like just like straight on Netflix or something. Because I remember seeing like, oh, Truth or Dare, God, that movie's on. And then like, whomever, you know, like, Netflix always has like those random thumbnails that sometimes aren't the actual movie art or poster. And I was just like, who's that? I don't remember that person being in the thing. And then I, like, you know, you click on it and it does like a preview, and I was like, I don't think this is... Yeah, so there's this one, and it's... this Truth or Dare came out in 2017. It says, a game of Truth or Dare among college friends on spring break turns deadly when a demon seems determined to use it to kill them all. Yeah, so this is... It's not the same fucking people. Like, I don't recognize any of them. Wow, they're crop tops high. And they're in, like... Did paper just fly across the... Okay. I'm gonna have to add this to my list to watch and probably yell at. The next movie is Unfriended Dark Web. So, as we learned from the first Unfriended, it's just... We're a group of, what, like 5 to 6 friends or something? It's always 5 to 6 friends in horror films, because you need enough time. You need 2 people to die per act, you know? Or, you know, I mean, and then maybe one survives. So, you know, the first one, the message is, don't bully, because demon, death, fine. But then, like, the second one is not like, don't bully. It's like, don't steal shit. And you're like, okay, you know, stealing is wrong. But it's like, I'm this guy, I work at a cafe, someone left a laptop there for, what was it, like 2 months? Like, left it for some time. And, you know, it's you know, bait, because someone's like, oh, lost and found, I guess I'll take it. It's the same kind of thing where, you know, like, it's the Skype call kind of thing, and it's multiple friends and all that shit. So, you know, you see the guy trying to log in on the computer and, like, all that stuff, and, like, okay, whatever, and it's like, oh, it's someone, so, you know, like, so, like, all that autofill stuff happens, and he's just like, log out, back and forth, log himself into Facebook, all that stuff, and then he goes into, like, fucking you know, Skype or whatever shit, and, you know, like, there's, like, the British friend who's, like, they're like, oh, he's up at 3 in the morning, so they're all playing, like, Cards Against Humanity or something, which, it's fine, I get it, when all your friends, you know, you're, like, not living near one another, let's all go on a Skype call and, you know, chat and even play something like Cards Against Humanity, because that's how friends are, fine. The movie is just a kid just like, oh, let me, like, try to just make this my computer now. Instead of, like, I don't know, do a hard reset? I don't know, man. Like, I get if you log in and then you're like, oh, click, 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 like, okay, I can't do this, or this thing is weird, or whatever, whatever. I would just be like, too bad, bitch, hard reset, or whatever, like, oh, now it's my computer. But instead he's like, I'm gonna use it now, and then, of course, like, the dark web, because it's dark web, they track it, and apparently it's like this stupid thing where that laptop is a bait, and so whoever finds it obviously opens up, they start, you know, like, it's not even just them logging in on stuff, just them connected to the internet, so of course their IP address, blah blah blah, and because he was, oh my god, my nose itches, and because he's on that Skype call with all his friends, so then all of them, you know, they're all their shit is tracked, and so then, you know, there's like this thing on the dark web that's like, whatchamacallit, that's like, you know, they're bidding on, like, who would die first in what way, and how they should die, and all that shit. So, like, you know, that's what those dark web people do on their Saturday evening. You know, these people playing Cards Against Humanity, they're like, let's see how they should die. You know, whatever, do you. One by one, they all start getting picked off and all that shit. Because, you know, they're like, hey, I'm trying to report this. And they're like, oh no, now your friend's gonna die. Obviously, the kid who's, like, into guns, they, like, control his computer where, like, because, of course, he's, like, the kid who's into guns, but he has, like, a massive sound system. So then they play, like, you know, like, was it, like, soundbite of shotgun. So they crank up his system, and it's like, click, click, like that. And then the cop's like, he's got a gun, you know, all that stuff, because why not? And it's, like, the fucking, what do you call, the British guy, like, he gets, like, hanged or something, I think, like, in his closet or some shit, and it's just, like, just one by one, they all get fucked, and it even gets to the point where, like, the main kid is, like, Skyping on his phone, because, you know, unlike a good movie like Searching, where there are reasons for these things, you know, this is just like, yeah, I have Skype open, I'm on my bike to meet up with this person to give them their computer back, but they're like, actually, BT dubs, you're dead. So then my next chunk, I call it bad sequels. So the first one is Cloverfield Paradox, and we all know how we all feel about it, because, you know, they dropped that movie on Netflix right at the Super Bowl thing, the commercial happened, then they're like, available now, and everyone's like, oh my god, and they're like, oh my god, it is suddenly available, oh my god, watch, it's bad, it's in name only, you know, they have the fucking, what do you call it, like, I guess Easter eggs of the previous stuff, but it, no, yeah, just yeah, my review where I was like, wow. And I was like, why are people so mad? Because I'm like, I get it, you know, this found footagey movie, like, turned into, like, a trilogy, and you're like, I get it, you know, and I know a lot of people were, like, big fans of the first Cloverfield movie, you know, with the whole thing where, like, you see the spaceship come down, and, like, at the end of the credits, you just hear someone go, it's still alive. You're like, it's still alive, and you're like, oh my god, you know, and you're like, the Cloverfield monster. And then the second movie where it's just like, what's this, John Goodman, you know? And you're like, okay, that's space, alright, you know? And then this one, you're like, okay, so now, like, we know what's happening, we're in space, and then nothing. Like, God. And like I said in my review, I was like, man, like, how, like, critical I kind of was of 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was fine with it, but, you know, I knew I was critical about it. I was like, I'm sorry, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I didn't know this was gonna happen, you know? Anyway, the next one is Pacific Rim Uprising. I knew it couldn't live up to what Guillermo del Toro did, because Guillermo del Toro is him, like, it's his thing, and it's just not gonna happen, you know? But my god, You know, for them to just be like, let's take this existing character from the previous one. Anyway, she's dead. What? Oh yeah, we're gonna have fucking John Boyega do fucking Salt Bae and shit. Like, what the fuck is that? We're gonna just throw all this shit together, you know? Like, the Jaegers don't really look that different, because the other ones, it's like, I'm like this, built like this, and I'm different. I got 3 arms, I got a thing, I got and then, like, Uprising, all the Jaegers were just like, anyway, we're like the same, you know, like, build your own character model, but I paint you blue, and you're red, and you're green. We're just kind of different, because we, you know, it's like, customize your own money character. It's the same thing when you just paint it differently, you know? And there was just like, I don't know, man, it could have been like, you know, like, it could have been like a fine sequel, you know, but then also having Charlie Day be the bad guy, you know, where it's like suddenly because he's like so addicted to fucking, you know, like, what's the word, drifting and shit like that, that like he's like, he mind melded with the fucking kaiju brain and shit so much that he's just like, I'm on the side of the kaiju, and it's like, okay, man, like, I don't know. The failure of a lot of sequels, which is, let's just take what you liked in the first movie and just do way too much of it in the second one, but not understanding, like, subtle nuances. Then we have Insidious: The Last Key. I really liked the first Insidious. Insidious 2 was good. Insidious 3 was, like, the prequel, and I find it funny that it's, like, movie, like, first one, second one, prequel. Like, okay. But then now it's like, okay, we're just focusing on Lin Shaye's character, which is fine, you know, and you get to see, like, Lee Whannell and his dude, like, how they kind of, like, met and all that stuff. But it's one of those stories where, like, I don't need to know how Lin Shaye and Lee Whannell's, like, their nerd gang met together, because you could kind of guess, you know, like, when you watch the first Insidious movie, you could kind of guess, like, how they kind of met each other. This is definitely this is definitely, like, an ad on Craigslist kind of thing going on. Like, I really don't see this as, I need a backstory to this. But it's like, okay, fine, you're gonna do this thing where, like, okay, yes, Lin Shaye's character was very unique and stuff, so, okay, maybe you do want to tap in to see, like, why she was in this, you know, field, I guess you would say, to begin with. Okay, and it's like, again, what they do with, like, sequels or several sequels after, which is just kind of like, okay, so we know this about Lin Shaye's character, we know she's this, we know there's that, okay, throw Lee Whannell and Guy in there because they're known for their stuff, and as much as, you know, she does the whole, like, I don't need you boys, and they're like, well, we're coming with you, because we know they're always together, like, kind of shit. And so then it's like, okay, well, how about, like, this was her childhood home. Okay, childhood home. And that's where it all began. And you're like, okay, but it's like, she left her childhood home, but now she has to go back. And it's like, okay. And then, of course, like, the movie, like, you know, it goes through all that stuff with the keys and the fling and the flang, and it's like, pretty much you're waiting, because you know it's a prequel movie, you're waiting for it to end for, what's-his-face, Patrick Wilson, to call her, and to be like, oh, yes, I will come over, and blah, 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 and it's like, oh my god, it's so, come back, you know, and this movie that need to be made. And this movie also came out in, like, January, so, you know, January horror films they always do well. And so next I have Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. I get it, you know, we all love Jeff Goldblum, and he is still, you know, kicking and all that stuff, but what a waste of that cameo. The whole kid clone thing where I was like, the fuck, and then, yeah, dinosaurs are let loose in Arizona? What? Like, okay. And then there's, like, I call it the fuck you moment, where, like, they're escaping the island, and you see, like, the smoky cloud shit, and you see the Brontosaurus, like, just being engulfed, and you're like, fuck you, movie. They were trying to, like, have Chris Pratt be more Chris Pratt, like, goofy, because he was pretty serious to a degree in the first one, but then here they're like, let's throw a little bit more of that Chris Pratt, like, kind of bumbling idiot thing he does. Let's throw a little bit more of that in there. And also, let's throw a little bit more of, what's her fuckface? Bryce Dallas Howard, like, awkward, huh, face? Like, the, what? No, oh, no, no, like, let's throw more of that shit in there. But it's like, that's not what we asked for, you know? Like, god damn. And then they had, like, those little, like, the assistant sidekick kids that, like I said, my review could have been played by one person. But it needed to be played by two people, just so you could see them argue at one another for no reason. Just to be like, maybe they should be together, maybe they should kiss, but no one fucking cares about them. Like, they're not, you know, and then they're also like, they're the millennials kind of thing, because apparently Bryce Dallas Howard is old, because that's what they're trying to say. So after that, I have Sicario, Deo de Soldado, and just like with fucking Pacific Rim, this originally was done by a very, very, you know, well-competent director, and the initial Sicario, you know, is done by, you know, Denis Villeneuve, you know, and it's fucking Roger Deakins, you know, doing the fucking cinematography, and what's his name that did the score for Mandy did. So it's like this trifecta of like, oh my god, you know, with like the beautiful visuals and amazing acting and all that shit and the score and all this stuff. And this sequel just was like, it's like, you know those scenes where the raids happen? Yeah. And then, you know the scenes where it's Benicio del Toro being kind of crazy? Yeah. We're just gonna do just that. Just that. So it's just like, oh, okay, cool. So this, again, slow build up, you know, like that a good movie knows to do, and take it slow and do that, build up the suspense and go and do all this shit. But instead, we're gonna be like, oh, hey, Josh Brolin, because you're not in enough movies, you know? And then Benicio del Toro, it's just Benicio del Toro, it's just him, and he's like you see in the commercial, he's like, with the gun, it's like, oh, like, in the trailer, I was like, okay, you know, like, learning from earlier in the year with Pacific Rim, I was like, I know exactly what they're gonna do. Because Emily Blunt's not coming back, you know, it's just Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro. It's not directed by Denis Villeneuve. It's a completely different, you know, group of people doing this. It's just gonna be, you know, we are like the hired hitman thingy, but again, instead of having this fear of Benicio del Toro's character like you did with the first movie, this one is just like, yeah, kill people, we want to, like, instead of you realizing that this guy is a horrible person, you're just watching it like how you watch, like, John Wick. You're like, fuck it, kill everyone, fucking make it crazy and, like, blow shit up and do all this big stuff and, like, woo, spectacle, rather than, like, what this movie originally was, which was, like, story and character-driven, instead of gunfire, you know, and you're just like, again, you take the thing where people are like, oh, you know, that scene where Benicio del Toro just, you know, he shows up at this family's dinner and just kills everyone. You're like, oh my god, what a horrible person. And then this one's like, anyway, he didn't do any sneak attack, he just walked up to a guy and went, like that, and it's like, anyway, hired killer, walking away, no one heard all those gunshots, like, and my final little category, it's literally, I seriously just wrote down, bitch, because we all know what the fuck it is. It's 50 Shades Freed. It's that horrible movie. It's the more tolerable one of all three of them, but you wouldn't know it until you watch all of them, so it's like, oh great. Again, it's like watching all the Twilight movies and realize the first one was the most tolerable one, but that doesn't mean it's a good movie. It doesn't mean that 50 Shades Freed is a good movie, in no way. It's just like, well, since I saw the other two, this one doesn't get me as angry as the other ones. It makes me laugh, kind of like the other ones, but kind of not as much. Like, okay, it's still bullshit, it's still stupid. Dakota Johnson's still doing that whole like, I'm Anastasia Steele, and I talk like this, and I'm just kind of like this all the time. Oh, I'm so coy. Oh, I'm so this. oh, I don't know. Oh, I'm licking his pubes. Like, oh, girl. And Christian Grey is all like, you can't do this because me, I have penis. You can't do it because I have penis. And then she's like, oh, I won't, because you're so overly protective. I won't tell you that the guy that, you know, was my boss that, you know, went to jail is now out of jail and is fucking stalking me. I can't tell you that because you're gonna go out and kill the guy, which probably would kind of solve a lot of these issues, but instead, you're like, I'll give him $5 million because he asked for it. Because you're such a pushover, bitch. You know, you don't know when to, like, put your foot down. But you put your foot down when it was, like, the lady interior designer because you're trying to, like, show your man that you can, like, be dominant. And that bitch is like, alright, just wanted to... And thank fucking Christ, they just did the 3 movies and that's it. They didn't do, like, 50 Shades Freed Part 1 and the first movie is just the wedding and fucking, you know, and the honeymoon, and then the ass end of it is, like, the part where it becomes, like, a weird heist film and shit, and then it just kind of ends abruptly, kind of, sort of, not really happening, you know, but no, you just made your film. Oh my god, and these people are so unlikable, you know, like, there's no way where you find yourself being like, I could see myself in Anastasia Steele, you know, but no, I don't see myself in her because I'm not a little shit. I'm not a little shit bitch, you know, and I'm just like, fuck, you know, like... Like, I could be a bumbling idiot, I know that, but I'm not gonna be like, this guy I went to go speak with, oh my god, oh, I fell over, oh my god, oh, we made eye contact, and it's like, oh my god, like, I'm so glad this is only 3 movies, you know? Like, you got your 3 movies, and it's gone forever. I don't ever have to fucking deal with this shit ever again. Don't have to. I don't have to. Again, I'd rather watch the Twilight movies, and I just don't want to watch them. You know, I'm like, nope, we're one and done. God. The cops heard that I'm yelling about 50 Shades late at night, and it's like, we gotta put a stop to this. I'm gonna go get my hair done at your previous abuser's, you know, place. No, but we still get along. Yeah, because she had instilled abuse into you, so you think it's okay, and then you're gonna keep abusing more women because you were taught that that was fine. But no one taught you that, you know, no one ever stood up to your fucking ass because you have money to be like, hey, that's abuse, don't do that, and give me your money because fuck you. And then, like a plot twist, I guess you would say, where it's like stalker John Constantine looking guy and Christian Grey had grown up in the same, like, I think, foster care or some shit, but then, like, Christian Grey was adopted by the Grey family, so he became rich and successful, da-da-da, and other fucker did it, he had, you know, fucking hard knock life, you know, for us kind of shit, and he's just like, well, if I was adopted by that family, I would be, you know, successful like Christian Grey, and then Christian Grey's like, oh my god, what if I was like, in the system like that kid? I could have been a piece of shit. But it's like, no, in the end, you're both pieces of shit. You're both pieces of shit. Whether you were adopted by this very, very rich family and you were given everything, you're still a piece of shit. Or you had a very hard life, you're a piece of shit. Because you're both in that foster care thingy, and I'm sorry, the system sucks. You end up being kind of shitty, and then the two of you just end up being really, really shitty, and then you're using that, and you're just shitty, shitty people, and then you do abuse, you know? Anyway, after all that, that is my worst of movie films, whatever you want to call it, of 2018. Whew, this is probably the latest I've ever put out my best worst of list. And I guess for a good reason? I don't know. But anyway, hopefully I can finally start watching movies that came out in 2019. I'm 2 months in. Anyway, bye.